priceless. I just appeared on the Piers Morgan show, or taped it, and it was obvious that he was looking for a clickbait. It was a clickbaity interview, that he wanted a moment on social media and in the trades that, oh my gosh, look, I got Don Lemon. In the process, though, I think that you will see that he embarrassed himself.
You're embarrassing yourself, Piers.
Actually, you might be embarrassing yourself, Don.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview. Oh my God, Piers, could you stop interrupting me?
Not really. You're kind of exhausting me. It's ridiculous.
Invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're being a complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Guys, we got to talk about Don Lemon. He went on Piers Morgan and he got triggered because Piers brought up the fact that he got fired from CNN, canned like a loser. Right? Like, imagine you work really hard all your life and you finally get this big time job. You feel like you're a big shot, okay? You're important now. You get to spew all your propaganda and all the nonsense that you believe. And then people don't like it and then you get canned for it. So you're literally getting rejected. And effectively, this guy appears to have either been blackballed, or I don't know what he's trying. I don't know if he's trying to get another job on DNC now, you know, which is, I guess, called MS now, because NBC didn't want those losers. But whatever he's trying to do, I'm sure he's not making nowhere near as much money as he was before. Piers Morgan's calling him out about this, and he got triggered. Without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what led to you leaving CNN. Let's take a look at the clip.
She says people, you know, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime
so
for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, it'll. If you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So
this,
I think
this guy literally basically got fired due to woke culture. And I really didn't see him speaking out a lot about this. Why are people so mad about Jimmy Kimmel? Don, you need to be worried about your damn self.
To be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that live, and I was like, whoa, what did you just say? I mean, if you had a do-over, would you say that again? I mean, what led you to say that?
Okay, Piers, let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, but just so the audience knows, and I hope you don't cut this out, when I asked you what subjects you wanted to talk about, you know what you said to me? You said, I want to talk to you about freedom of speech in America and the response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview. You have invited me on many times, and I tell you, Piers, I know you. I would come on your show, but I don't do panels. And so when you said I'm not going to be involved in a panel, I agreed to come on your show.
So he doesn't want to talk with people that could talk back, people that are going to call him out. So he already knew he was getting himself in a position where people weren't going to call him out. So he thought Piers, I guess, wasn't going to do it, because everybody else definitely was going to do it, including other people on the left, because pretty much nobody likes this freaking weirdo. I mean, we like making fun of him, but that's about it.
But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear,
rather than try to ambush me with something.
Just to be clear,
so,
you and I
yes.
haven't. Well, Don, just to be clear, you and I haven't had any conversation about your appearance here. You're talking about my team talking to you?
Yeah, no, and I saw you, Piers, in a restaurant, and I said, hey, Piers, good to see you.
Yeah.
I would come on your show, but I don't do panels.
Right.
And I said the same thing to your bookers.
There's only one
and
of
so
you,
when
Don.
I asked you, and right, okay, and so, yes, and I said that's why I agreed to do it. But when you asked me, or when your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have the text messages, what do you want to cover?
Yeah.
Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being ambushed, but let me answer your question
Hang on one second. No, Don, hang on 1 second. Let's just be crystal clear about what's just happened.
Under what circumstances do you think you're going to come anywhere? You haven't really talked a lot about the whole CNN situation, and you think you're going to go on Piers Morgan, and it's not going to come up? I mean, my God, this is just foolish. And Don works in television. They've done this on CNN to people that have come on CNN before. That's where he used to work, is on CNN. Don Lemon's probably done it himself to other people, but he's acting like he don't understand the game. That's where they all come from. Piers used to work for I forget where he used to work, but he was on some mainstream media organization. That's where Don Lemon's from. Now all of a sudden you done forgot how it works.
Brought up the subject of cancel culture. I asked you, did you feel your departure from CNN was an example of that, and you answered the question. And I think it's perfectly reasonable.
And I answered the question.
Perfectly reasonable in that if you'd said to me, I don't want to talk about it, fine. No, but hang on, no, so sorry. You said what you're going to say. By the way, we don't.
Disingenuous.
Don, we don't edit.
I don't like arguing like this. I'm not going to get into an argument with you. Piers, I think that's completely disingenuous. And I think anyone watching that.
What are you talking about?
And so if you will let me, if you will allow me, please.
What are you talking about?
Okay, did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
I think you're
answer
being
the
a complete dick, if I'm honest with you.
Okay.
I do.
Well, that's very kind and respectful of you.
It wasn't intended to be kind or respectful.
I don't like the ad hominem attacks. I could respond in kind.
You can say what you like about me. I don't care.
I think that I'm above that. I'm not going to do that, Piers. That's not who I am.
I don't understand why you're playing the victim card when you yourself mentioned cancel culture.
Because Piers,
this dude literally was calling. I don't know if y'all remember the video. He was like, "Your stupid MAGA brains."
Finding out, you dumb fucking idiots. Now you're just figuring this shit out. You're so fucking stupid and you deserve it. You fucking deserve it because you're so dumb. Jim, it's hypocrisy. So go with me here. Yes, I am gloating over your stupidity and how you were taken. I'm cackling in Kamala, says in Shanta. You have been co-opted because you're in a fucking cult and you don't even realize it because you have stupid MAGA brain and you don't get it. How stupid and dumb are you?
I mean, this guy loves to act like he's holier than thou. There's a saying for this. They say that you're fake as F. I'm trying not to cuss, okay? But basically they call it being fake, fraudulent. Okay, nobody's falling for it, Don. Like, the cat's out of the bag. We know who you are. At least when it comes to me, I always have.
oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Let me do this.
What are you going to do? Read out my team's messages to you?
Piers, it should be embarrassing. Yeah, I can read out the team messages to you because I just think it's completely unfair, and you know that. I'm prepared to answer your question, and then I'm going to move on. I told you I'm prepared to talk about Charlie Kirk's death, the response to it, and cancel culture, and freedom of the press, and freedom of speech.
You were prepared to talk about cancel culture, or you weren't?
No. I'm not prepared
you're not prepared to talk about
cancel culture. But that has, oh my God, Piers, could you stop interrupting me?
Not really. You're kind of exhausting me. It's ridiculous. Why would you react this way to a perfectly normal? Obviously, if you mention cancel culture, obviously it's rational and logical that I would ask you whether you felt what happened to you at CNN was that. I play the clip and then you throw a hissy fit.
I've given you a moment. Enough. I've given you your moment.
I don't want a moment.
This is going to go viral, so please.
I don't want a moment,
yes, you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this. Otherwise, you would be a respectful journalist and host, and you would let me talk.
I don't think I'll take lectures on being a respectful journalist
because you want a moment. Oh my gosh, Piers.
I won't.
I can't even hear because there's a delay and you keep talking. And what do you want me to do? Like rip the earpiece?
You need to fix your freaking internet connection, my G. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Out in the mic and run off so you have a moment?
No, I don't care.
Are you going to let me answer the question? Are you just going to keep pillaring me with questions?
I don't know why you've gone on this weird rant. I don't understand any of it. Why have you done this weird reaction? I simply asked you about whether you felt your departure from CNN was, in your eyes, an example of cancel culture. I played the clip,
Piers,
and
you're embarrassing yourself.
I then said, when you watch it back, do you really understand what you were saying?
This is why I don't do this, but you're embarrassing yourself, Piers.
Actually, you might be embarrassing yourself, Don.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah, you might be. Have you thought of that?
You guys want to know what's a shame about stuff like this? People like Don Lemon, there's really not that many decent black men on television. There's weirdos like Don Lemon, crybabies like Lemon and Van Jones. I love how he tried to take the high ground, but still made a fool of himself because he literally threw a tantrum. How do you throw a tantrum and not realize that you're throwing one? He was throwing a tantrum by being asked a simple question. Cancel culture literally came for him because of what he said about women and for what he said about Vivek Ramaswamy.
You don't think that's important?
I hear a lot about
comparing it to CNN is not this apples and oranges. It's not the same thing.
Well, it's different networks. Yes, apples aren't the same as oranges. You get one view through CNN, you get a different view through Fox News. I think that's good in our marketplace of ideas is that we have media that offers diverse perspectives. And you want to talk about threats to our democracy? One of the threats, and that phrase is an interesting one, threats to our democracy. I think one of the biggest ones is the chilling effect on speech in our country more broadly, where if somebody says something that a broad segment of the population or certain people in the government disagree with, there's an increasing trend in our country to silence that. And the answer to bad speech and alleged misinformation is not less speech. It is more speech in the marketplace of ideas. That's actually what a free press really means. Civil war was fought for black people in this country to get freedoms, a noble mission. And I think that even after we succeeded, we had to actually secure those freedoms.
To reduce it in a speech at the NRA to say you're making people think, or you're trying to say that black people to get guns, that was the reason that you're there at the NRA. That was the reason for the Civil War.
It is a fact.
That's reductive.
It's not
and
reductive,
I think it's
Don.
insulting. There are a whole plethora of reasons that for the Civil War.
With due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was part of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on one second. So to say that black people, say what you said again?
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They were not secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not, you are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to happen.
And you know how they got it?
They
got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA played a big role in that. But today, Don, the
NRA did not play a big role.
Absolutely, they trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role.
This is just historical fact. But Don, the part that I find
because you say it's historical fact.
The part that I find insulting is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I have a
the
different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate without me regarding you as a black man,
insulting that
but
you're
me regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
You're
That's what I think we should
here,
see.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
whatever ethnicity I am,
what it's like to be black.
Whatever
in America.
ethnicity I am, I'll tell you what I am. I'm an Indian American. I'm proud of it. But I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
the content of the ideas.
If you're going to do it, you should do it in an honest way.
A few moments later.
Let's welcome tonight's guest. His greatest contribution to mankind, getting Don Lemon fired. 2024 GOP presidential candidate and author of the new book, Capitalist Punishment, Vivek Ramaswamy.
He's trying to claim, well, that's not the reason I was fired. Well, yeah, that and what happened with Ramaswamy is why you got fired. So, yeah, it seems to me like cancel culture has been coming for people on the right and honestly people on the left for a long time. So just because now the right is using it, that really shouldn't be a problem, in my opinion, because like I said, you got to fight fire with fire. But let me know what you guys think. You think that Piers Morgan was out of line here, that he was going for some crazy ambush on Don Lemon, or was this a perfectly reasonable question considering what just happened with Kimmel and what has historically happened with Lemon? Seems to me like this guy's just being a little too freaking sensitive. But then again, he is a fruitcake, so what would you expect? These are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
I thought that included free speech and everything around that.
I know you're loving this viral moment. I just think that you're embarrassing yourself.
I don't think you understand me at all.
Something instead of you going into the garbage and trying to find something that will, give you a moment, or that you will, get a click out of it or more viewers for your program.
You sound very bitter, Dom.